say that the Prime Minister has provided something by way of a diversion in a sense, because he's provided no explanation of what it is I asked.
However, I have asked the meeting to get that.
That's right, Madam Chair. I hope that we will
and I hear the Prime Minister saying, the other Prime Minister saying, yeah, quite willing to make it open and public.
Yes. So, Madam Chair, I wanted to respond, if you like, simply because the Prime Minister, by pointing to the sensitivity of the area, almost implies that it is imprudent to have asked the question because somehow in answering, somebody is to be embarrassed.
I don't think he means that.
But I'm interpreting it that way, Madam Chair. I'm glad that you are of that
I didn't understand it.
Yes, I know that you did, but I am of that view. And what I'm saying is that that perception is immaterial. What I'm asking is a simple question. The plan for the year had certain numbers in there. The minister specifically, the Minister of Finance, indicated that there had been variation on two fronts. And since there have been those variations, when the decision was taken, presumably he knew that's why he could answer so definitively. And he asked me for that information.
I remember I heard him give an example of two fronts. I don't know that he said that there were variations on two fronts, but he has agreed to get the company to provide details and to say how the shortfall, why it occurred. And I think that should end. Are there any more questions on this line item? I therefore put the question that item number 1, agency code 03031, stand as part of the supplementary. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against? Thank you, the ayes have it. Now move to item number 2, agency code number 04041, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Development and Foreign Policy. I pose the question.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the item before us has a number of elements which are listed in the annex that is being provided here. Can the Minister give us an indication of the arrangements on which this financial assistance will carry in? Presumably, the first two, Philippines and Somalia, were given under the rubric of the UN, within the framework of the assistance. Can the Minister tell us something about the other two, what exactly is the framework of which that was provided, and if there was a formula that can come fashion, or is it amongst nationally determined by the government?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the St. Vincent, St. Lucia, and Dominica, the amounts are will be paid directly to accounts provided by the governments of these three countries. The amounts were decided by the government of Guyana. The CARICOM Secretariat provided a list of items as determined by SEDINA that would be needed, but also indicated that the governments prefer cash because you can have several of the same items being received from different countries. So this is why we made the decision to provide cash and directly to the governments.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Except that the Minister has indicated whether these amounts were informed perhaps by an item. In other words, I'm just interested in how the specific figures were arrived at. I understand the logic that the Minister explained. I have no difficulty with it. I'm just wondering in terms of the amounts or the
It was arrived at, Madam Speaker, based on our affordability. And was the reason why we have 100,000 each for St. Lucia and St. Vincent and a slightly lesser amount for Dominica is because the information we received from CARICOM is that Dominica was slightly less affected than the other two countries.
Thank you, Honorable. If there are no other questions, can I put the question that item number 2, agency code number 04041, as part of the supplementary estimate? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against? Thank you. The ayes have it. Now move to item number 3, agency code 13133, Ministry of Local Government and Regional Development. I'll pose the question.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Perhaps I can kick off on this one. As regards the request, you will note, Madam Chair, and I note with some concern, that the voted provision is $5 million, and the request for supplementary is 24. That is one side. It is really not consistent principle of good management to see a supplementary of this size compared to the original. And I wonder whether the minister has some acceptable explanation. The second question is, in a sense, related. The question is, what makes this expenditure urgent and unanticipated?
Honorable Minister of Local Government, are you answering, sir?
Thank you very much. The question, voted provision 5, and we requested the further $50 million.
I'm sorry, Madam Chair. I don't think we are looking at the same supplementary request. Can the minister get his figures together, please?
Honorable Minister, it's a total there, but in the explanation you have it separately. The total is 24,200,000, but it's for two things. One is for the cleanup campaign and one is support for the municipality.
What was requested is $15 million. That's what was requested.
You're disaggregating then the 24 million, the 15 and then.
Madam Speaker, are we in the same yes, yes, thank you very much, colleague. I asked two questions, and I haven't heard the minister
The
answer
Honorable
either.
Minister probably didn't hear it. Could you repeat it?
I'm sorry.
What is that
I got it.
question?
You wait though. In fact, the amount of 24.2 million, 15 million of that amount was allocated in respect of the cleanup, the Georgetown cleanup, and the other $9.2 million was supporting the Linden municipality in meeting employment costs for the last quarter of 2020.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Madam, you understand the concern that you have at all stages when the ministers come with these details which are not reflected in the documents that are provided. Let me also say to you, Madam Chair, that the details that which is referring in terms of the question of what I asked a question and there was a purpose.
I asked that you ask it again so that the minister can be reminded.
First of all, why is this treated as an urgent matter? An employment bill could not be something unanticipated and urgent. Okay? And secondly, as regards the cleanup.
I think you should ask it one at a time.
Thank you, Madam. Thank you.
Madam Chair, with respect to the Linden situation, consequent on the withdrawal of the rescinding of the illegal toll. The Linden municipality found themselves unable to meet the revised minimum wage requirement to pay staff during the final quarter of 2030, and they wrote us seeking assistance. We in turn asked for the details, and that is how we requested $9.2 million to cover additional employment costs, to cover the revised during the final quarter of 2013. That is $9.2 million. The $15 million a different request, and that had to do with the cleanup of Georgetown. We worked with the city council, identified the areas what needed to be done, costed, and we requested the additional funds to do that cleanup exercise, because the council pleaded that they did not have sufficient resources to do that.
Madam Chair, the issue once more, I hear mention of a toll and a whole set of things. I don't see them here. But what I'm saying, Madam Chair, is that if the government at the beginning of the year receives from municipalities proposals for expenditures and requests for subventions, and it is aware that some elements of the subvention or some elements of the income that the municipality anticipates is either irregular or will not be allowed to stand or is illegal, then it would have known that as a consequence, some adjustment either has to be made or additional provision needs to be made. We are now in a new year. The question is, why is this? That's what I'm asking. How could this be urgent? How is it that it can have been urgent? That is really the issue. And cleanup and maintenance operation is part of the. Madam, I haven't finished you. I hear someone else taking the floor.
Yeah, Honourable Minister, please wait for the question.
And the question of a cleanup operation, unless it is something equivalent to the exercise pointed out by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, then it should be part of the provision in terms of routine. We have this in relation to agriculture also. We had a long discussion on this last year. These are routine things. Why are they treated as contingencies, as urgent and only arising at the end of the year, and the expenditures are avoidable? We need an explanation. That's what I'm asking. But not an explanation something by the minister when asking the question. It should have been in the paper, in the documentation, Madam Speaker. That's what I'm saying.
Thank you, Honourable Member. First of all, could I say something? I agree that the cleanup is routine, but I think it's routine by the municipality. I heard the minister say the municipality said to the government that they could not undertake the cleanup on their own. So the government had to, of necessity, all of us live in Georgetown. We know floods and we know all kinds of things that happen and sicknesses that are going on. So, unless the honourable member doesn't live in Georgetown, exactly. I mean, it did become a dire emergency. The routine has to do with the city council said, well, okay, if you're strapped, then, you know, I will have thought that was I will allow the minister to answer your question.
At the time of the preparation of the 2030 budget, the ministry would not have been aware that there would be an issue with the toll. That the toll was illegal and that it had to be withdrawn. So, consequent to that happening, and because we care about people, there was a request for support to meet the wage bill for the last quarter, close to Christmas when you're enjoying yourself on the road. And so, government decided to support, and that is the 9.2 million. The municipality would have got subventions from government, it's a fixed amount, all of them get 20 million to city council to do programs, projects that they would have identified. Other projects outside of that are funded from rates and taxes. They had a shortfall, the public was calling on us to clean up the city. They sought our support. And as the oversight ministry, we saw ourselves positioned where we ought to help. And that's just what we do. It's all about assisting the municipality to meet its responsibilities. That's all it is.
Madam Chair, I regard as complete and acceptable the explanation that you provide. As regards the question of urgency in this particular case. Let me say, I get the impression from either, Madam Chair, the explanation that the minister gives us, based upon the tremendous humanitarian concern, intense humanitarian concerns of the government are very touching. But the suggestion here that it is a response to a request leads to the impression that in response to any request, the government is prepared to provide resources. We know this is not the case. You know that it is not the case.
What is not the case?
That you don't simply provide money when it was requested by a municipality. That's the point I'm making. And that's the explanation that the minister provided. That the request came and therefore it was met. There are a number of other requests that are not met. And what is more, I'm saying to you, Madam Speaker, that in terms of the request from the municipality in the first instance, the municipality, I'm sure, and perhaps we had better ask rather than you say I'm sure before you get Madam Chair. What was the request that the municipality made for the budget support in 2013? What was the request?
Honorable members of Greenwich, I'd first like to remind all members of the council, while you're in the meeting, who are performing resolution. Secondly, sir, I didn't hear the minister say every request that is given. What has come here is held in response to two requests. The Georgetown municipality and from the Lennon. That's what I heard the minister say. I don't know, other municipalities may have made requests which might not be granted, which are not here before us. I don't think the minister said they didn't grant it, and I have no doubt that. And I have no doubt that the Lennon municipality may have asked for more, but it's given this because I don't know how much. You want to now find out what the request was made when, now or for when the appropriation? Because having sat on a select committee for local government bills, I'm aware that a subvention is given by government to the municipalities and to the NEC, which is a fixed subvention. They give, I think, Georgetown 20 million, and other municipalities get lesser amounts, and each NEC gets 3 million. Now that is a subvention that they give projects that the municipalities have to do. So, because municipalities and NECs are supposed to be run utilizing taxes and rates that they collect. So, are you asking for what request was to which this was given? Or are you asking for the original budget request?
Madam Chair, I'm in search of the original budget request, and I'm saying to you that the words of the minister were such as to suggest that he was the government approved this because it was requested. Okay. I went on to say that it gives the impression, and I know that's not the impression, but I thank you very much for helping the minister. I note the length of the answer and the care that you have devoted to trying to ensure that the answer is acceptable. But
I'm just trying to move the business of the House along. That is my principal concern. Do you have any more questions?
I have a question, please.
Yes.
Eat before we go.
Madam Chair, my question to the minister is, having regard to the fact that he said that the City Council has made a request for these sums of money amounted to $15 million. Whether these sums of money were paid directly to the City Council or they were paid to contractors specifically identified by the ministry for these projects which are on this page.
The City Council did not make any request for any specific sums of money. What we had was an exercise that involved an officer of the ministry. They did not make requests for specific sums of money. They made requests for assistance with the cleanup of Georgetown. So what happened is that officers of the ministry, along with the solid waste department of the City Council, went around the city of Georgetown, determined the areas that needed urgent intervention, and we costed that.
Who got the money? Who received
The Ministry of Local Government and Regional Development requested the money. The money came to the Ministry of Local Government and Regional Development. Second, there was no contract awarded to anybody. We used the community development councils, and it would be interesting to know, Madam Speaker, and I know they will be happy to know, that in two of the communities that we had an extensive cleanup exercise, we used councillors from the City Council to supervise the activity. So in the case of Agricola Meadowbrook Lodge, we used councillors from the municipality. Okay, so there was no contract. People from the very communities were involved in the cleanup exercise. Okay?
Thank you, Honor.
Please, Madam Chair. So I'm understanding the minister to be saying that the City Council indicated to the ministry that the city needed to be cleaned up. And the ministry on its own took members, employees of the City Council, went around and identified these projects to be done, and then paid persons who are not under the purview of the City Council to do these projects. Is that what the minister said?
Honorable Member Mr.
I understand him to be saying that.
Honorable Member Mr. Harman, I heard the minister say, and I don't know if you heard it. I heard the minister say, Mr. Harman, would you? Thank you. I heard, I don't know if you heard it. I heard the honorable minister say, people from the local government ministries, along with the Department of Solid Waste Management from the ministry, went around Georgetown. He did identify Solid Waste Management Department. He didn't say just take any money. Solid Waste Management Department, together with the ministries, went around, identified the areas that were of highest priority, and is there? Did you hear the same thing I heard?
Yes, what I'm saying, the point I was making, please, Madam Chair, is that the City Council, the management of the City Council itself was not involved in setting the priorities.
So the solid waste management is not
The
part
solid
of
waste management is plucked out of the ministry and out of the City Council and taken by the minister and by the local government ministry and goes around in an area for which the City Council has responsibility and then award contracts.
Thank you.
That is what he's saying.
Thank you. No, we didn't say that. He said contracts were not awarded. And he also said, and you are saying that councillors were not involved. I distinctly heard the minister say, councillors, members of the City Council, supervise activities in certain areas. That's what I heard. So I'm not sure.
The supervision of a contract is different from awarding the contract.
I specifically heard no contract was awarded.
The the identification of work to be done. And what is being raised, Madam Chair, is that the city council or local democratic government have a statutory responsibility for defining priorities. Having identified the need for a set of work to be done, it seems a little odd that local government, the local government ministry, would be the agency that will decide on the priorities, leaving some areas out and taking other areas. That is really the point that is being made. And once we appreciate your input, I again say that I appreciate the extent to which you have to go to rescue the minister. Often you seem to be speaking twice as long as he is on his.
I'm not rescuing the minister, sir. I'm just saying what I heard is against what Mr. Harmon is saying. Thank you, Honorable Minister and Mr. Harmon. Do we have any other questions? Yes?
Chair, thank you for follow-up to the minister. Will the minister indicate what part of the $15 million went to labor and what part went to rental of machinery and equipment?
Thank you very much. Madam Chair, the focus was on removal of thick vegetation and also drains. I say this because I don't want the picture to be painted that we had a big set of machinery. That aspect of the work was undertaken by other agencies. The only hire we did is for 2 trucks to remove the vegetation at the end of each working day and take them to the hot function. There were no contracts awarded to anybody. The workers who were involved.
Cost of hiring the truck. That is asking the cost of hiring.
Equipment. I do not have their final details, but I can tell you it doesn't exceed $1 million. I can provide that information. I can provide it. Okay.
Thank you. Yes, Honorable.
My follow-up to that, Madam Chair, whether the minister did not seek the use of any of the machinery or equipment from the mayor and city council or from the local government ministry before going outside the island.
Yes, Honorable.
They came to us for help because they did not have machinery in working on it. That's why they came for help.
May it please you, Madam Chair. With reference to the Linden Municipality, I understand the Honorable Minister to say that he rescued the municipality by paying the salaries. Is that what Mr. Bishop said?
I didn't say anything.
What did he say?
Honorable Member, that's your question?
That's the beginning of questioning.
Honorable Minister.
Madam Speaker, the Linden Municipality said to the ministry that they did not have sufficient financial resources to meet employment costs for its workers for the last quarter of 2020. That's what they said. And we asked for details. And it's premised on the details that we sought the support that they requested.
For a Madam Chair, I understood the Honorable Minister Taft said that due to the toll being declared illegal toll, they were unable to pay those salaries because when the toll was in effect, they were paying salaries. Is that what you said, Mr. Minister?
The Linden Municipality has 4 or 5 sources of revenue. Okay? And if you check, there is none of those sources that they collected 40% of what they cost to collect. I'm going to use that. I am getting
Just
it.
let
I'm getting
Minister
it.
answer, you can ask her.
To say that because of the removal of the toll they could not pay,
You said that.
is not correct.
You said that.
It's not correct. That is, what I said is, I was really quoting what they said in their request. They said that.
You said that because of the illegal toll, they were unable to pay the salaries, and so you had to rescue them. Anyway,